Now at 6:30 on WKYT this morning, Lexington police are taking extra measures. They're trying to keep the city safe after a recent rash and violent crimes, including 12 shootings.
Frankfort police officers resigned after being linked to a bourbon heist.
And cross if you dare, a look at the world's first and only shark bridge, and it's in northern Kentucky.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you from WKYT and welcome in. We're glad you're with us here on this Thursday. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. I'm still trying to guess Shark Bridge. What exactly is that?
Yeah.
It almost looks like you're walking over sharks. Right. Yikes.
It's up at the aquarium, so we'll show you that here in just a little bit. Go
Woo.
If you're there.
Yeah.
All right. We have some rain that may be sprinkling through the region this morning before we get back to some good weather. Meteorologist Micah Harris on duty in our First Alert Weather Center.
Yeah, that's what we have outside now. It's about a 30% chance of rain during the morning hours, but as we slide up into the afternoon, you double that, about 60% chance later on this afternoon, and you're looking at spotty showers. So not everybody will see them, but most of us at least will pick up at least some rain drops. 52 degrees in Mountain Parkway down eastern Kentucky. Lexington, Richmond looks decent this morning. It's not all that bad. And today's forecast at 60 degrees, so some of us won't even get out of the 50s later on. Spotty rain today, but after today, it looks amazing as we slide off into the weekend. We have 60s, we have 70s, and we even have 80s. I'll show you all that coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, Micah, we'll see you in a bit. Here's the latest from WKYT.
Well, Lexington police are now stepping up patrols after a recent rash of crime in Lexington. A dozen people have been shot in just the last 3 weeks.
So they have put out extra folks on the streets. The increased patrols, just one measure the city is taking to try to keep people safe. WKYT's Mark Barber is live now to explain what else is going to be happening today. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. The police department will meet with the NAACP at a town hall forum tonight to discuss ways to make the city safer. Now, police say that as the temperatures are rising, the crime rates in the city are rising along with them. Now, they say after a violent 3 weeks, police finally had a quiet night. Over the past 3 weeks, in a rash of crime, police say more people have been assaulted with a weapon than in the previous 3 months combined. Since April 7th, our records show there have been 12 shootings and 1 stabbing. Investigators say in 2 of those cases, men were killed in robberies. On April 19th, officers tell us Salahuddin Jitmood, a pizza delivery driver, was stabbed to death while he was making a delivery on Trent Circle. 2 days before that, investigators say Jonathan Kruger, a 22-year-old UK student, was shot and killed while he was walking home on East Maxwell Street. Officers say they are responding to the recent crime wave by adding bike patrols in all areas, seeing an upswing in crime, especially the area around North Broadway, 7th Street, and Georgetown Street. Now, tonight's public meeting with police and the NAACP will start at Winburn Middle School at 6 p.m. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, thank you, Mark. And Lexington police say there has been a decrease in violent crimes this year compared to last year when you look at all the total numbers. It's important to note that they have made arrests in the 2 recent murder cases.
New this morning, we're tracking the investigation into a deadly house fire out in eastern Kentucky. Lawrence County Emergency Management says the fire started at around 11 o'clock last night on Wilbur Road. That's in the Blaine community. It's about 30 miles east of Louisa. Few details at this point have been released, but we do know that state police and the state fire marshal are investigating. Well, the federal judge who struck down Kentucky's same-sex marriage ban has died. Court leaders say John Hayburn died yesterday after a battle with liver cancer. He was 66 years old. He'd been a U.S. district judge since 1992. Last year, Hayburn struck down Kentucky's constitutional amendment that banned same-sex marriage and the state's ban on recognizing same-sex marriage performed in other states. The rulings were appealed. The Supreme Court heard arguments in Kentucky's case this week.
The time is 6:35 on WKYT this morning, and the tough war of words continues this morning over the Centerpoint project in downtown Lexington. Developer Dudley Webb is now demanding that the city take back its request that the site be filled in. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is live in downtown Lexington now to explain where the project stands this morning and with more about the tough talk. Hillary, good morning.
Good morning. That's right. Tensions continue to grow between the developer of the Centerpoint project, Dudley Webb, and the city of Lexington as the two parties exchange letters stating differing demands and plans for this project that started back in 2008. While the city wants the giant hole in the middle of downtown filled back, Webb says the project is making progress as he fired off a letter of his own in response to the city's demand. Webb's letter outlines several examples of work at the construction site within the last 60 days. That letter came after an attorney for the Urban County Council wrote a letter to Webb referencing an agreement signed back in December of 2013. Now, that agreement states that once ground is broken, work must not be stopped for 60 consecutive days. The agreement goes on to say if this does happen, the developer must restore the area to its original state, including dirt, utilities, fencing, and grass.
Well, we've been monitoring the development of the site every day since that agreement was signed. The failure to act in this instance has been pretty egregious. I think folks only need to drive by the site and peek in the fence to see that nothing's been done for a long, long time.
Now, Webb claims that the city's letter is having an immediate negative effect on the project, including at least one tenant withdrawing from the project that has now been underway for nearly 7 years. Live in Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Hillary, thank you. Obviously, a lot of frustrations all the way around there. Well, a Frankfort police officer has resigned after being linked to a bourbon heist. Officer Michael Wells is named in search warrants connected to the case. The warrants say Gilbert Kurtzinger, the man who police consider to be the ringleader, placed orders for steroids with Wells. And investigators say Wells called Kurtzinger 3 times while deputies were serving a search warrant that uncovered stolen bourbon. Frankfort police say Wells may have violated city policies.
After deliberation, Officer Wells elected to resign his position with the Frankfort Police Department.
Wells had been with the Frankfort Police Department for a decade. He was with the department's DARE program as the DARE officer. Franklin County Sheriff Pat Melton would not say if Wells will be facing criminal charges. He did tell us, though, he expects more arrests in the case.
Well, a former University of Louisville basketball player charged with rape and sodomy is now clear of all charges. A grand jury decided not to indict Chris Jones. Jones was accused of raping 2 women at a Louisville apartment complex in February. Jones was released from house arrest earlier this month as prosecutors prepared to present the case to a grand jury.
The Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport is no longer the most expensive airport in the whole nation to travel from. New data from the U.S. Department of Transportation shows it has dropped to the number 3 spot. Airports in Madison, Wisconsin and Newark, New Jersey now have the nation's highest fares. The airport in Louisville was ranked 31st. Well, today's Pegasus Parade is going to be a special experience for at least one Louisville teenager. 13-year-old Tay Reed was shot during a fight last month in Louisville, and he'd always had a dream to march in a parade, and that dream will become a reality later today. He will be marching with the Kentucky step and dance teams. While recovering from the shooting, Reed has been speaking out against youth violence in the city.
A K-9 officer shot while on the job in northern Kentucky has received a very special honor. Officer Ernie and his partner, Officer Mike Lusardi, were honored by the Covington City Commission after a shootout last week with the suspect. Ernie was the first to take on the gunman. A bullet hit 2 of his paws. Ernie's doing much better and could be back on duty soon. His partner says Ernie saved his life.
As he went up to the bad guy, is what we call him, he was able to bite him, and then that's when he was able, he got shot upon from the bad guy, and then the bad guy returned fire towards me. So he gave me that 2 seconds, Ernie gave me that 2 seconds to find cover, and return fire.
Well-wishers have been sending Ernie cards and treats from as far away as Oregon, and I'm sure that dog is set for life when it comes to treats.
Right, and looks ready to go back to work already, doesn't he?
Special little guy, very cool.
Right.
A new display over at the Newport Aquarium is giving folks an all-new look at very popular exhibit.
Yeah, you ought to try this one out, Rebecca.
Yeah.
The Shark Bridge will open today. The 75-foot-long V-shaped bridge goes over the exhibit's 385,000-gallon tank, allowing visitors to walk over sharks, shark rays, stingrays, and hundreds of fish. This week, the aquarium also added scalloped hammerhead sharks in the exhibit. Now, they are extremely rare and an endangered species. Those sharks can grow up to 14 feet long and weigh more than 300 pounds. So there you go.
I'm a little more comfortable with that one when you're over the sharks as opposed to the ones that you're enclosed in all that glass and in the tank.
Yeah, and maybe they're over you as well.
Right, right.
Well, I have one of those up there as well. So if you take the trip to the Newport Aquarium, you can see it.
That may be for me.
6:41 is our time this morning.
Let's check to see how traffic is moving this morning.
Here's Officer Don with a check of live drive traffic. I'm sure he would walk right across the Shark Bridge. Good morning.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. There's something about sharks sort of freaked me out just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Teeth.
Hey, I'll let Rebecca go first. Then we'll see how it goes. In and outer loops of the circle look okay. On Man o' War, between Richmond Road and Tate's Creek Road, they're doing the milling and paving work. Now, that was a mess yesterday. We don't expect that this morning, but this afternoon, that's going to be a problem for us. Let's get a live look outside right now, Broadway and High Street, where we're good to go. On our Waze map, nothing major happening. We're still okay on the interstate coming across the Clays Ferry Bridge on 75. It's normal traffic flow, and we've got a few live drivers on the way in, mostly on the circle. One reporting a stalled car on the outer loop of New Circle near Winchester Road. Now back to you in the studio.
Okay, should be a good ride in. Thank you very much, Don. He'll keep us informed as we go through the morning here, and we have a lot more news coming up on your Thursday on WKYT This Morning.
Well, this is a home invasion of a different kind. Look at how a wild turkey caused thousands of dollars in damage to a family's home.
We have a weak disturbance going to be flying on through. That'll give us some rain for today, but after today, it looks much better. Show you that weekend forecast coming up.